Hello, and welcome to 100% Real with Ruby. Today, we are going to talk about some harsh realities of what it actually takes to create the body composition that you want in this modern environment. Everything now is completely different than it was. Most women now feel like they have even more to do. They're busier than ever. They have less time than ever. We have become even more and more short-term focused. We always wanted things as soon as possible, but it's never been as bad as it has been lately. I don't know whether you've noticed that. I have Carmen on this podcast to talk about this with me, but I would like to know if any of you have also realized that. But when I first started coaching, I found it pretty easy to get people the best results because they didn't have the noise of other coaches online. It wasn't really a big thing back then. It was just a few online coaches. It was rare. So they didn't have this TikTok 3-second, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Oh, I understand that there's like trust issues, but I feel like because we are so wanting to inform ourselves, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, but I want to do this, but I want to do that, but I'm questioning this, but I'm questioning that. It's making it harder for people to kind of do the hard things they need to do. It's almost like we're trying to find that escape. It went from go hard, go home to, hey, it's okay to just intuitively eat. Like those people that are living this lifestyle with more flexibility, they did not start there. I feel like unless you go through a period, there's always a period of overcorrection to correct something. If you think of a seesaw and there's 10 bricks on one side and none on the other, you end up overcorrecting in some way because you are so far on that side. Now you're coming so far to this side, but you're so scared of the messy middle because we live in the extremes. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just feel like unless people can overcorrect to then find the messy middle, you're never going to be able to get there. However, that part is uncomfortable because it might mean feeling like you're sliding a little bit backwards, but unless you allow yourself to like free fall a little, you're never going to then pick up that momentum to move forward. And I feel like unless you take that period of like, I actually know what it's like to feel good now. I actually understand why, which Carmen actually put a post up on this. And I didn't think about that because I've lived my life like this the whole time, like recipes. Oh my goodness. Like people find things so difficult with food because they feel like they always have to come up with a new meal every single day that needs to be this MasterChef quality, and it needs to like be 5 stars, and everyone in the family needs to be like, oh my God, you're the best chef in the world, cook all the time. Or we need to have these overcomplicated recipes and look up these overcomplicated cookbooks and what recipe can I do for that? I need more recipes. It's like, no, you just need the basic fundamentals. Like as soon as you realize how much time you save, how much decision fatigue you save, how much everything you save, you'll want to keep doing the thing, but you'll never experience that unless you put yourself through the grit. Like I've mentioned on so many podcasts already, your taste buds change. So unless you're willing to then go through the grit of let's just get through this period where things aren't so orgasmic in my mouth and I'm not having like these, that's yummy, it's a party in my mouth things, then you're never going to get to the other side where you're not going to be having all these cravings. You're not going to be always having blood sugar lows. So yeah, what do you have to say about all of that?
You've known me for a while now. You know I'm somebody who's definitely put my time in and come out on the other side. Finally, after years of going through those extremes that you talked about, was always looking for I don't want to say the easiest way, but it was almost like the hack. Like there's got to be something wrong with me. Why can't I lose weight? And so you go searching for all these answers and you're jumping from one thing to the next, trying to find this extreme answer that's going to solve all of your problems. But you're 100% right. The solution is in the messy middle. It is putting your time in, it's putting the reps in, it's doing things the right way, making it a lifestyle, and you're going to succeed. But the problem is that's boring and it takes time and nobody wants to do that, right? You know, when it comes to food, you know, I am all about keeping things simple. That's actually that whole recipe post was so funny, because I do have a client that has recipes, so many recipes entered in them, and she finds tracking very hard. And I'm like, obviously, because it's the recipes, there's so much work. So anyway, the other night I'm making dinner, and I thought, I'm gonna just, because quite often I am very happy just eating very basic food, and I'll make my family like some of what I'm having and then make them something else, maybe like a different side dish or something like that I don't want anyways, because I'm obsessed with squash lately, and so that's what I want for my carb every night. Anyway, side note. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have this sweet and sour chicken that I'm making. So I entered the recipe, and I was like, oh my goodness, why do people do this? Like, it was so tedious and so annoying, and I hated it. And I was like, one recipe in there after, I don't even know the last time I did it, but I was like, that is a reminder why I don't do this. And I thought, if people are trying to track their food and live like this, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. So much work. Not only that, but there's so much room for human error in there too. And I think when you're learning how to track your food, you need to work at accuracy. And the easiest way to do that is to just have those kind of single ingredient, like single component meals that you can put together on your plate, weigh each one separately. And it's easy, so much easier. Can't stress that enough.
Kind of the power of coaching, because I think way too many of us don't understand just how complicated we've been making it. But think about the foods that you eat on a regular basis. They're not all that much different. It's just changing the flavorings of things. If we figure out how exactly it is that we want to feel, I don't think overwhelmed and always feeling like everything is so damn hard is on the list of that. But you actually said something really powerful there, and I loved it. It was how everyone's looking for this like one hack. So they're jumping from one thing to the next, trying to find like this one thing that's just gonna solve it all for them. And that brought up something that we spoke about before I hit record. I think this part is actually really powerful, because it speaks to what most people are looking for. And that's like this magic hack that's gonna make them look lean and have more muscle, less fat, have this ideal body composition. But most people are going about it the wrong way, because you don't see the muscle when you're not stage lean, but the sacrifices of being stage lean something worth sacrificing? Are you actually wanting to sacrifice all of these things to be stage lean? But even if that was the end goal, you're not going to get to this place where you look stage lean without periods and periods and periods and periods of building muscle. While they may look really small, that muscle took years and years and years and years and years to build. Because of the period of time where I hardly ate for like 5 days, well, 4 days, because of the operation that I had, like I obviously was expending more than I was inputting. Oh, look at that, calorie deficits work. But anyway,
shocker.
But like anyway, even like that would have worked even more if there was more body fat to lose. Like I would have lost even more. But that's the point. Adam was saying, oh my goodness, you look at all the muscle you have, blah blah blah. And the reason it was annoying me is because I'm like, no, you're not understanding. No, like I want more muscle. I'm like, this is the thing, we always want to improve. Being transparent, I'm always transparent here. Yeah, I still want muscle, but what you're seeing isn't me building more muscle. This is it. Where people get trapped. You are not building muscle and losing body fat at the same time. You are losing body fat, which is revealing the muscle mass that is there, which makes it look like that you are building at the same time. And it happens all the time. People want to argue for, oh no, you can't say that you can't build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Here's my proof. Here I did. I'm like, bro, no. Like you might have a little bit more glycogen in there, or you might be a little bit more pumped up or just something. But that is just what you've revealed. That was there before. And if you continue down that path, you're just going to look like a scrawny little raisin. And I saw this at the gym that I was at before. It was a pet peeve for a while I was there. One of the trainers used to have these really close friendships with these clients, and they stayed. Obviously, you usually stay because of your relationship with your trainer, but it was so painful to watch, so painful, because they would compete and they would look pretty okay. Then he would keep them in this, like, they never really built anything in between. And then they do another comp either later that year or the next year, but there was never really any building there. And because I was there for like 2 years, 3 years, I've been seeing these women over that time looking worse and worse. It's like, yes, okay, cool. It's going to work the first time, obviously, because you're going to lose the body fat and you're going to look pretty damn good. But if you stay in that depleted place with nothing built up, your metabolism, your muscle, your ability to even, for the majority that aren't like in that world where discipline comes so much easier, you don't need more discipline, bro. Like there's a reason you don't have discipline, and that's because you've already worn it out with trying diets over and over again without taking a break from it. Like this isn't just for people who are skinny fat. This is for people that still have quite a lot of weight to lose. You need this more than ever, more than the others, because you've been trying diets for probably the last 20 years. You're not able to stick to anything because you've worn your willpower out. All that effort that you put in to not see anything or to have lost it and then to have gained it back. No wonder your brain doesn't want to stick to anything. No wonder it's like, what's the whole point? You're going to gain it all back again. You can't do it. You need to build trust within yourself. But it still comes to the same point. It is not that one next thing. It is not that you're missing this hack. It is you need to understand the process. You can't intellectualize the process. It's not like a systems operations management system that you put into a computer, because everyone is different. Everyone responds differently. And we can't forecast what's going to happen later on down the road for anyone. The process, the actual fundamentals are the same. And that is, you need time away from whatever it was that you were doing before, because that clearly wasn't working.
Yeah. I agree with 99% of that, but I have to say, like, just from my own personal experience, when I first started trying to get in shape, so I was 42 years old, I had fat to lose and I was not working out before. And so I was eating in a calorie deficit unintentionally because the coach that I hired didn't have me tracking anything. It was, you don't even want me to get into all of those rules, but it was low carb, long intermittent fasting, a list of detox foods for 3 weeks. It was a lot. And so out of all that, it taught me habits. It taught me how to meal prep. It taught me how to get my grocery shopping done on the weekend and start prepping some ingredients and getting things lined up for the week. So that was good. It also taught me to start having consistency with working out. And so I think, like, when I look back at myself, I think I was in a place that I was fine to lose some fat and start working out at the same time. And I did develop some muscle doing that because I was coming from a completely sedentary, like, you could have thought of me as a total beginner. It had been years since I was doing anything, right? So there's like a time for that phase that you can.
I want to say this is a matter of semantics again, because just because you're not focusing on losing fat does not mean you're not going to be losing fat. It's just that is what I wanted to clear up here, because I'm not saying, hey, we're going to get you all porked up and chubby so we can prep you for the slaughter. Like, no, it's just, we need to get you away from focusing on losing fat and changing your body as soon as freaking possible. Like, completely forget about it. Because if you have a lot of weight to lose, the maintenance lifestyle that we are trying to work towards obviously is going to have you in a leaner body, a healthier body, a fitter body. That is what we want to build up, because you cannot rebuild habits, create new habits, break habits, change things that are not working for you in an unstable environment, a depleted environment, an environment that has a sense of deprivation, which is going to come from, hey, I have this timeline. I need to lose fat on this timeline. No, we need to get rid of that, because the second that you put a timeline on it, the second that you say, hey, I'm focused on losing fat, this is what's in my mind, you're going to sabotage yourself, because that's a necessity mindset. Your stress system, your fight and flight system saying, no, fuck off. We don't want any part of this. We've had enough of it already. No, we need to think on, what can we add to your life? I think this actually has a lot to do with how you're living your life now. I had this conversation with Adam, and what do you sell them? Because they're selling them like this, because we were having like a little business thingy, because I was getting so frustrated. It's like, yeah, well, of course they're going to get like all these people who are talking about these two coaches that get a lot of people in their 12-week challenges. They're selling them like this really lean body. They don't give a shit what happens to them afterwards, because they're selling them exactly what they want, the dream body, the this and that. Like, this is my point. I am not okay with doing that, because he's like, you need to sell them something. I'm like, I am not okay with doing that. That is not what I do, because they are always going to gain something back, because they're
not learning anything, right? They need to learn.
I want you to bring up that crop top conversation that we had, because I think that's important here as well. And that's the thing, like, you can have the best body. Like right now, for the first time ever, I can be like, okay, I can actually like see that I need to build muscle. I need to move in that direction. Whereas if you look at me, when I was literally coming off stage, I said I was a fat potato. Like, because as soon as you get off stage and you're now needing to eat more food, even though I literally stayed stage lean for way too long, my hormones were a bit fried.
Yeah, I bet they were.
But I thought that I was turning into a fluffy potato. Oh, I'm getting fluffy now. Oh, I'm getting fluffy now. I see the language in my check-ins. I went to look at them and I'm like, wow. That's the thing. Like, you do not see yourself as you are. And I don't think a lot of people can actually accept that, because it's like, oh, you can't, unless you're willing to see things differently, you are going to stay stuck in the same cycle. But yeah, but the main point is, I was having this conversation with Adam. And we were trying to like figure that part out. Because I'm like, no, I am not dropping myself to the level of the, what do they call them these days? The grifters or whatever the fuck. No, I want to, and then I'm like, no, I want to sell people this, like this part, because when you're on the other side, it's almost like you don't even, like, that isn't even a thought in your mind. And he's like, that's exactly what you're selling them. You're selling them a happier life, joy.
But that takes time, and people don't like that, right? And that's the thing. So the whole like learning habits and, you know, getting those like big rocks in place before you even like intentionally go through a fat loss phase. Like, yeah, as you're developing these habits, your food choices are going to change, your habits are going to, like, you're going to actually start seeing changes. And I tell my clients, this is part of the fat loss process. Think of it as step one, really. Like, if you're struggling tracking your food right now, or you're tracking Monday to Friday, and you want to jump into a fat loss phase, like, come on. You and I both know as coaches, the biggest reason for somebody to sabotage their results is because they track Monday to, I always say Friday at noon. And then weekends are free for all, because they've been good all week and they're done. They deserve it, right? It's self-love. They got to have balance, yada, yada. But so I kind of like phrase that and have people think of that as part of the fat loss process, because you need those habits in place, and you absolutely 100% have to ditch the timeline. I had an epiphany a while ago. I was like, I couldn't understand, like, why are women so, you know, like hell-bent on having a date in mind, and they have to do this by then. And I thought, that didn't even cross my mind when I was going through this. Like, not once did I think about having a deadline. And so I think sometimes when like for myself, I know that when I would work with clients initially, I'd like, you know, okay, well, I have, you know, a certain, say, 4-month minimum that, you know, you got to give me time, work together, yada, yada. But then I found, kind of unintentionally, that was almost lighting a timeline in my mind as their coach. And I don't do that anymore. I'm like, you know what? And so it was kind of giving us both a timeline, even though I wouldn't like express it to them. I almost felt like this like urge to get them results in this short amount of time, when they could be like I was before and just have no habits in place. And that's not what they need.
I was listening to someone say the opposite for that same reason. He's like, this is exactly why we have it. In the first month, you're not going to expect to see any results. It's just that you need to be careful how you word things, because in the first month, you're still getting used to systems and processes, but you reframe it in a way that this is setting you up, because you're not going to build a mansion without foundations. But if you're coming into it expecting, if you're coming into it expecting to have results in like 12 weeks or in like 30 days, that's not going to happen. That's why having like a 4-month minimum is something, because he's like, we changed it from 3 to 4 months, because that way it's like, well, this is exactly why, because it's just going to roll over from there. Our goal isn't to say you're going to have this by this. It's this is to make a commitment to yourself that you are in. And I feel like if people just feel like they can, like, if they're not seeing results, yada yada, pop off, you're going to keep yourself stuck in the same cycle.
I get that. I totally do. And like, see both sides of it. for me, and you know what, maybe that's more, I've got to be, even though you think you're clear with people, maybe I need to repeat it like 10 times. You know, I think that's what it is yeah, like I see that point and I appreciate it. And, you know, that's how I did things. But then that's just what I was finding. But also, you know, maybe that was like, you know, a little bit of my responsibility too, just to keep reiterating to them that this takes time, because like I do that with my clients all the time now. This takes time, right? So, but I have to say, I don't have people, you know, start and then in a month leave. Like that doesn't happen. Whereas before, I would say if I had like, say, a 4-month minimum, then at the end of those 4 months, a lot of people would be like, okay, I'm good now, which is amazing if they are. But in my eyes, as their coach, I'm like, you still have work to do. You know, like we're just kind of getting started. Hey,
I guess I haven't really even thought about that, because I never really thought about a minimum whenever I signed up with a coach. It was just like, well, I signed up. I never really asked about the minimum. The minimum was there. I'm just like, well, I already know I'm in this, because
totally, yeah. And that's how I am too. I'm like, I'm not just giving you X amount of time. So I guess, yeah, I just assume that's how people think too.
Yeah.
They don't.
I didn't think of it that way, because I didn't like. And then as soon as people say we've been together for X months, I'm like, have we? I didn't know that. I had one client saying to me before as well. She messaged me, and I can't remember how she worded it, but at the very end, she's like, I just realized, do you believe we've been together, like this coming year will be our 10th year together? I'm like, no
Crazy
way. She signed up with me in 2016.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like I have clients that have been with me for like 7 years, 8 years. I have 2 that have been with me since 2016, 2 that have been with me since 2017. And I just had I just had 4 clients last year re-sign up with me that have been with me before. And yeah, it's almost like this is the thing that this is kind of why I'm starting to be like, I don't know where that fire is anymore, like being honest, because if I think about what it was like before all of this stuff just blew up with AI and social media, the connections were real. Like people didn't scatter themselves everywhere. They actually tried to make a bond with their coach. They actually put the time into what they were doing. And I have the most amazing relationships with a lot of my older clients. Like I had 5 people in the last 2 weeks. Actually, I'm lying, probably like 10 people in the last 2 weeks reply to my stories saying, oh my God, you look the happiest I've seen you. You look so happy. You look this, that, and the other, because I'm posting like stories with Adam. And it's like, these are clients from years ago that are still watching my shit, but it's like they know you on that personal level. And I think that's missing from all of this, because if you're only looking at this, well, let's do the fitness, let's do the diet, you're never gonna succeed. And I wrote this in one of my personal posts. Do you follow my personal page?
On Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
No, I don't think so. Send it to me. But that's the thing. You need to connect with your clients. Like you can go get your stuff off of ChatGPT for free if you want. That's fine. Coaching is about the relationship, and it's about it's so personal, and it's so much more than macros and a workout plan. Like, you know what, that reminds me, I have a client right now. So she fell down her stairs and hurt her back. And one of her friends said to her, oh, well, you're not going to keep your coach then, are you? And she's like, yeah. She's like, if anything, she's the one keeping me sane through this and helping me get through it. She's like, it's so much more than workouts and nutrition coaching. Why would I get rid of her? I'm like, exactly.
All right.
People don't think that though. It drives me nuts. And it's like, go get your plan online for free. We are not about just giving you a plan to follow.
Talking about the end of the year as well, that kind of relates to what you just said. So I want you to talk on that very soon. But the post I was relating to on this personal page is, don't forget why you actually wanted to start in the first place: to feel better, to have energy, to live a fuller life. But above all, it's to have the confidence that allows you to go after it, the opportunities, the chances, the bigger things, to realize your strength. And your strength is more than what you can lift. It's a whole energy. It's an identity. It fills you. At some point along the way, you transition from this internal fight to chasing your best version of you. You chase getting stronger, better, fitter, a happy life. Because when you act to feel good, it's funny how those things actually have you looking good too. Moving makes you feel good. Eating and training with your goals in mind, holding your word, showing up for yourself, those promises you make with yourself are the lifeblood. And like that to me is everything, because if you're not holding the promises you make with yourself, you're never going to be successful regardless, because you're just proving to yourself that my goals don't matter, this, that, and the other. But at the same time, discipline is never going to make you hold your word with yourself, because if you're not holding your word with yourself, the intentions that you're trying to put upon yourself, they're ridiculous. Let's just go.
Yeah, it's true. Like everybody is like, waiting for the perfect time or for motivation or whatever. They don't realize that the promises you keep to yourself, the actions that you do, that's what builds momentum. And then you will finally start to get some motivation, but motivation comes down the road. It is not the first thing that you start off with. And yeah, you've got to just do the things, live in a way that is for your best self. I know that sounds so cheesy, but like once you start putting those things in place, like you said, like, taking care of yourself, eating well, moving your body, removing the stress of having deadlines. Once you start doing those things, you will start to see results. You just need to be patient. And then you get motivated a little bit. And then that motivation comes and goes, because it's just a feeling. Like, I'm not motivated all the time. I'm rarely motivated to work out these days. But I do it because it's what I know makes me feel good. Right?
So many people don't actually experience that part yet. If you can't figure out what that is, try this question instead. What do you hate not doing? What makes you feel depressed, annoyed, or like your life has gone astray if you don't do it enough? Answers to this double negative question seem to be better indicators of what's really working and worth doing. And that's the thing. You're not going to know that until you put yourself through the hard to get to that place where you're like, hey, this is actually making me feel good. Like the all stages of change. I was inspired by this ages ago. I wish I wrote it down. How does it go? It's like, at first it becomes something that is a huge resistance and you rather not do the thing it's easier to not do. Then it becomes easier to do the thing, but you still rather not do the thing. It's more comfortable to not do the thing. But then you get to a place where you don't like the feeling of not doing the thing. So it's more of a tug of war. And then you get to a place where you want to do the thing. You don't want to do the thing, but you want to do it for the way it makes you feel more than you want to do the other. But then you start doing it and for the fact that you want to do it because you know how it makes you feel. And you don't like the alternative. You want to keep moving in that direction, but you don't just get there overnight. And that's like a different conversation. And this is what it's all about. But unless you start to do these things and stop outsourcing the blame and shame and start it into yourself and realizing, hey, I can actually change. It's not that this isn't working for me. It's just that there's something that I'm aware of and I have to be okay with accepting that, so then I can work on it to improve. Since when, like, I don't understand why we have to put up such a fight and say, no, there's nothing wrong with the way that I'm doing things. It's just that my body can't do it this way. Like, I don't know what.
Gee, that could be a whole other.
let's break it apart. Like, this is meant to be a hot out thing, and I want you to bring in the two things that I mentioned before, the crop tops and the end of the year thing, because it's this time of year that's going to set you up with the best success with the coach moving forward and with yourself. Because if you're going to actually navigate the seas of life and be able to get to these great voyages and keep your ship intact, then going through the batterings and storms of the holidays and being able to make it out alive, as long as you make it out alive. But did you die, bro? As long as you make it out alive. That's
exactly it. Yeah.
That part there. But it's not just that. If you only make it out alive and then try to just scrape it through again, you're going to fail. It's make it out alive. Reflect on the lessons you've learned. Reflect on that with your coach. Bring in the lessons, bring in the great stuff, and use that for the new year. Don't just start off in a diet straight off the bat. Use that. Then use this transition period to, okay, how do I actually want to do this time, so that I don't repeat the year before, because so many people, this is actually going to lead into, I'm going to let you do the food thing because you're really good at nutting out like the hard facts of the food, and then go into what I mentioned before at the end of the year, and then move into the crop top. But this is where a lot of people want to have more flexibility at the end of the year. But you're going to have to, just like people that want to get lean and look amazing, and they're trying to find this one hack that's going to make, like that one hack that is going to build muscle, lose fat, give them this ideal look. It's never going to exist unless you actually put the sacrifice to say goodbye to one summer shred, 2 summer shreds, and put those 2 years into eating more food and not being shredded for summer, which, let's be honest, you never actually get shredded for summer. You lose some weight temporarily and you still look worse over time because you keep skipping this. Unless you be okay with that, you're never going to get to that place unless you be okay with eating more food in a slight surplus or an aggressive maintenance to start with, because never do a surplus unless your training is intense enough to demand it, because you don't surplus on muscle, but you need to be eating enough regardless. Unless you're willing to do that, you're not going to get to the other side. The same with this. Unless you're willing to sacrifice some of these events and occasions to do the hard shit, you're going to keep struggling because you're going to keep wanting to make every single occasion this huge party. But the point of the fact is, if you could at least just get the majority of the year on board and do everything you need to do in those 11 months, 12th month, you can have more flexibility. It's you're wanting to have more flexibility when you've already had enough flexibility for the whole year, because you've never stayed on track, because the track you're trying to stay on is a tightrope. Now go on your food rant.
Well, I just think of when you talk about getting through the holidays and whatnot, I'm very open with my clients, and I just tell them, like, you have to be realistic with your expectations of what you expect throughout this time. If you think that you're going to come out in January and you would have lost some weight because you're in a dieting phase, I think if you go in with that, you're most likely setting yourself up for failure mindset wise, right? Because it's probably not going to happen. So be realistic. Is maintaining your weight over the holidays a good goal? Yeah, I think that's a little bit more realistic, and at least you're not ditching your coach because you can't follow your plan to a T, and then you come out on the other side and you're 7 pounds heavier and your jeans feel snug because you didn't have anybody to be accountable to. So you just had at her for the month of December, right? You've got to go into it with realistic expectations. You have to be picky about what you want to say yes to. You don't have to go to every single event that you're invited to, right? Choose the ones that you really want to go to. When you're there, you don't have to drink your face off. You don't have to eat all the food just because it's there.
Let's talk alcohol for a second, because that's really important there. You might think this is why it's so important to stop focusing on dieting, because when you realize that you can have these foods throughout the whole year, when you track your food, you have a lot more flexibility. When you have more structure, when you're more quote unquote disciplined, you have a lot more freedom. You can know where it fits into your goals. I had this conversation with a client before because she travels a lot for work. It's like, well, if we actually get most of your stuff in a system and we know what you're eating, like, I just want you to track for not track for one of your holidays, but just like have a mental note of what you do on the holidays, and then get a rough idea of what you do during the week, so that we can actually build something that has direction, that has structure, because then you have more flexibility when you're away, instead of just saying, well, I don't want to be, because this is the over calibration thing, where she was really strict before, and like the bodybuilding ways, taking Tupperware, this, that, and the other. She doesn't want that anymore. So then she went free balling shit. So instead of free balling shit, it's like, let's actually have some structure now, because now you can not have to do it the way you did before. You can eat out, you can choose this, you can choose that. Just because you don't want Tupperware doesn't mean that you choose the most elaborate dish that's there because you want to rebel. I think a lot of people are rebelling against what they went through before because it was so, yeah.
Oh yeah, they think, oh, I'm not at home, or whatever. I'm not tracking this weekend because I'm not at home, and yada yada. So I'm going to have whatever I can have because this is the last time that I can do this. And it's like, that's just not the right way to go into it. Throughout my whole, like, what is it now? Almost 26. So 20, I think it'll be 5 years in January when I finally started to get myself into shape here. I had every single year we go away on vacation, like to all-inclusive resorts, and you don't have to drink your face off and stuff your face all day long just because it's available, right? Like, I'm leaving on Monday, my husband and I are going away. I'm not in a dieting phase right now. I still watch what I eat because I know that it makes me feel good. I still make sure that I have a high protein breakfast. I make sure that I'm not just eating crap. And even, I hate to say that because I don't like to call foods like good or bad because they're not, whatever. Like,
it's crap. It is. That's the thing that I'm starting to get annoyed with, is like this politically correct environment.
yeah,
Crap food. Like, there is a difference between eating food that makes you feel good, that actually serves a purpose. Like,
exactly. Yeah,
food is meant to serve a purpose. If you want to have something serve the purpose of indulging, then admit that. Don't
exactly. Dude,
I'm eating crap because it makes me feel good. That's why I'm saying we need to stop saying, I'm treating myself with this, I'm treating myself with that. No, you want to have an indulgence. Say that you want to have something with the purpose of indulging. It is not with the purpose of XYZ in blah, 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 blah. Regardless, the thing that you need to realize is that unless you plan ahead and set these guardrails for yourself, you're going to keep slipping in and out. But you need to ask yourself, why is it that I'm finding it so hard to control my alcohol consumption? What is it saying about me? Because everything we do, regardless of whether it's sabotaging or not, is serving a purpose. It's serving us in a positive way without us realizing. It's what is it actually serving you? What is the fear that's there? And this is why, unless you come into this with that aspect of, this is why I say therapy will never work for you unless you've already done some baseline work. Because you need to be open to hearing what is being said. You need to be open to having these different perspectives to link them together, because it's going to stay blocked off to you. You're not going to see anything that they say. You need to do some work with them. You need to do the homework. And I feel like unless there's a therapy and a coach working together, it's really difficult, because you're not going to do the work. As soon as you leave the therapist's office, you're going to be back into your usual environment, and it's going to be voila, Bob's your uncle. Like, I felt that my most self-development came from reading my books, and it's why I'm in love with doing my cardio, because now I read my books while I'm doing my cardio, and it's the time I have with myself. It's my selfish time. Like, I love that time.
I don't know how you can read and do cardio at the same time. I wouldn't even have cable. Like, I never sit and watch TV. So when I'm running is when I'll watch a show, and that's my little guilty pleasure, that whatever. Going back to different like indulgences and stuff too. That's another thing I tell my clients. If you have something, I don't care, but it has to be done with intention. If you are like, you know what? There's a big difference between, I'm so stressed out, I'm going to eat like whatever, a big bowl of ice cream. That's one thing. And it's another thing to be like, I actually really want to enjoy this ice cream. I'm making the decision to have it, and I'm not going to feel guilt over it because I just want the ice cream. To me, I think there are two different things. Like, if you're intentional or reacting to your emotions when it comes to, food, right? So yeah, I'm big with that. I'm like, if you want that, have it, but make sure your decisions that you're making are done with intention, because I don't want you to feel guilt and regret after, because that's the worst feeling in the world, is looking back being like, what did I do? And yes, that's probably still going to happen sometimes with people, especially if they struggle with emotional eating. Like, that takes a long time to get over, and lots of patience with yourself too. But I just think that when you can make a decision with intention, it is going to serve you better than it is out of reacting to, whatever situation you're in. Like, if you're going to a party, regarding alcohol here, go into it saying to yourself, I'm going to have 2 drinks tonight, rather than go there and have no plan with what you're doing. And before you know it, you're, 6, 8 drinks in, because you didn't already have your mind made up with what you want to do. So be intentional.
Always boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. They're not bad. People, like, they're good for you. It's okay to have boundaries.
That's kind of the same thing that I said before about the political culture with the whole crap food. It's just like, we've become demonized. Like, we started demonizing boundaries and things that can actually serve us well in getting to where we want to be. Well, it's like, well, you've made these ifs and buts, and but it's okay if it's only one if, and that has not served you. There comes a point where we have to say enough is enough, and we need to kind of Like, this isn't about strict prison mentality. That is not what this is about. This is about giving yourself the chance to prove that you can do this by actually proving to yourself that you're going to show up for yourself. But yeah, and I feel like this has a lot to do with how you feel in your confidence in your own body as well, because if you don't feel in control of your life, you're always going to feel very uncomfortable within your own skin, and you're always going to feel like there's something else to change. But you need to build the trust with yourself one step at a time. You need to challenge the mindset of, but this offsets this. No, you need to ask yourself, is this choice serving me right now? What am I really trying to get out of this action? Because unless we can, like, we need short-term tools sometimes to serve us long-term. It's just realizing that you can then pivot. Just like along the way, your goals are going to evolve with you. But if you stay so adamant on this, that, like, that's why I'm saying don't forget why you started, because you can get so warped up in chasing this thing, because that's what dopamine does to you. But we keep trying to chase this dangling carrot. It's almost like short-term vision. You forget to, hey, stop, take a look around. You can get to the same destination without so much rush. And because you're not rushing anymore, you're not in that urgent mindset. This goes back to the timeline. I just mixed up what I was talking about because I feel like it kind of ties to this in such a better way. The timeline, if you're in such a rush, you don't get to enjoy the surroundings, and then you're always going to feel like there's something missing because you never lived. However, if you actually just slow down, enjoy the process, enjoy the ride, figure out how you can make this something that you can keep doing, you'll smell the roses, you'll realize, oh my gosh, there's actually animals in that area over there. Maybe you'll stop by for a little. Like, it becomes something that you start to believe, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to lose my results this time. I'm not in a scarcity mindset. Hey, it's all good.
Exactly. Actually, that's funny because, like, I just said that to somebody the other day. I'm like, imagine this, like, because I was talking about a timeline, and, you know, the tracking's pretty inconsistent, like 19 out of 30 days kind of thing. But it's the weekends that aren't tracked. And I don't feel this is the time to put you in a fat loss phase, because your habits aren't there yet, even though you have this urge to do it. Where was I going with this? Oh man, here we are, like two ADHDers. That's not good. So we were talking about
the timeline and enjoying the process.
Oh, and the process. Yeah, I said to her, I'm like, think of how amazing this would be if this was the last time in your whole entire life that you had to lose weight. Like, wouldn't you want to do the things to get you to that point? And have it be, even not like necessarily, you know, like they say, enjoy the process, but enjoy the lifestyle. Think about it necessarily as like, as a process. This is just going to be your lifestyle now, right? You're going to focus on eating healthy food. Of course, this lifestyle has different phases. Are you going to have to track your food forever? No, not if you don't want to, right? Because you're going to learn how to eat for your body and your goals as time goes on. You earn that. That doesn't happen in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? People think like, oh, well, how long do I have to track? Don't worry about that right now. Just don't worry about that right now.
I just did a full circle. So I think that was perfect, because that's literally what I said before. Like, this isn't an operation system of a computer and trying to understand how things work, because you can't just forecast that stuff. Like, let's just focus where your feet are now, because you're not going to learn anything unless you go through the process. Like, it's so easy to say, well, I want to understand how all this works. I like understanding how all of this works. It's like, well, you actually understand by going through the process, because you already know how college works. You already know how university works, but that didn't make you any smarter. It didn't make you understand the process any much more. You understood through going through it that, oh my God, this is the most stressful thing ever. Like, you can be like, oh my God, this is going to be so exciting. I can just do X, Y, Z. Woo, college parties. Woo. Like, you just see everything that's in this college book because it's all outlined as a course, but then you go through it and it's like, oh my God, the pressure, oh my God, this, oh my God, that. And then you might get set back behind because, oh my God, your kid's this, your kid's that. So then you have to pull back and maybe do half your units or whatever the hell else. Like, you can't forecast this stuff. And also you can't forecast how well you do. It's like, oh, easy. I know that. I'm going to get HDs, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, maybe you didn't actually do all that. Like, that's the thing. It's like, You need to listen. Okay, cool. Well, I know that's the direction that is, as in like I need to not think about deficits right now. I know that that's the direction, but I can't really forecast all that much from there. It's just focusing on the things that are going to create the end result. Hey, it's actually all about your training. Like, it's literally all about your training. As long as you're eating enough food to facilitate that, you're eating enough protein to facilitate that, everything else is about your training. Because no matter what you do with your food, you can pedal this, pedal that, your body will never change, because that's about how hard you're training effectively. And I'm sorry, but the reason that most people do not have the lean body composition that they have, I see it all the time when people come to me. Number one, they cannot brace, they cannot hinge, they didn't even know that their lats are important in all of this. Your lats are fundamental to every single movement, because you cannot brace your core without your lats. So it's like, if you never knew these things, and you never knew that you actually need to use your adductors, well, you have to like use your big toes and your adductors in an RDL, and your big toe is a huge part of it as well. It's just that you still want more weight in your heels, and that doing your deadlifts with like your chest up, or your RDLs with your chest up, all of this kind of stuff is not actually allowing you to get stronger. If all you focus on is glutifying and glute biasing everything, all that shit is stopping you from building the physique. Full stop. Because if we, like, even the glute biased RDL, it's like, why are we frothing over the glute biased RDL versus the freaking normal RDL? Most people glute biased RDLs don't even hinge it, they squat it. But aside from that, as long as you are just like, since when did all of this become the focus? Instead of focusing on just lifting heavy ass weight, learning how to lift heavy ass weight, because you're never going to get to a place where you can keep progressing, where you can lift heavy ass weight if you don't have a brace or a hinge, because you can't load something that is unsafe and unstable. That's why your back always gives out. That's why half the majority of women have troubles with their knees, because no one's focusing on this stuff. They want the results now. It's like, I wish I could just bottle this.
The foundations, right? Like, you need that.
This is the stuff I'm passionate about, but it's like, I need to find a way to like put this into messaging so much more, because it's not the stuff that was sold that we're missing. Like, Carmen had her body because she trains like a freaking beast. Like, she actually wants to improve. The only reason that I am where I am now with the body that I have now is because, well, I used to train like a freaking beast, and I'm trying to get that back. And I was so proud of myself yesterday, until I didn't realize that the graduation party that I went for like 4 hours. So I didn't eat for 5 hours after my training session.
Oh man.
And it was
so hangry.
I wasn't hungry. I wasn't hungry. No. I wasn't hungry at 9:30. So I was starving by 9, actually. I was hungry by 9, not really, because I'm someone that can easily go, as soon as I start eating, all I want to keep doing is eating, and I can't stop. But I'm fine to not eat. That's why the way that this is another thing where you don't listen to how other people like do their food, because what works for you, as long as you're fitting in the thing. Regardless, what I want to say is, yesterday was the first time that I actually pushed the freaking leg extensions the way that I used to when beyond the burn. Usually I give up before the burn, because I've lost my oomph on that. So I get Adam to help spot me on it, because I get pissed off at myself when I can't do it. But yesterday I did it for the first time ever. But here's the thing. And then I was pissed off at the fact that I didn't get to eat my protein and get the stuff after it. Whereas most people are like, woo, no food. It's like, you start to care about your performance so much more. And once you're in that place where you care more about protecting your performance, his mom asked me, are you going to compete again? I'm like, anything that impacts my performance, no thanks. Like, I will cry over lost performance. As soon as you protect your performance.
It gets addicting. Big time.
When you actually show up to your first session fueled for the first time, not fighting, with a goal, not even a goal in mind. I hate the word goal, but I just use the word goal. With this intention. Jinx. With this I actually like that. I have to start using that word, because I keep saying goal, and my best clients say it, they can't answer those questions because they can't think of goals. I'm like, I love that answer, but it's not helping me. I need to figure out some other way to say this, because usually I say a vision board, but the intention works. As soon as you go into the gym with intention, everything changes. It changes, and your body is going to be reflecting that, because it's performance that changes your physique. We need to stop thinking there is no such thing as phases. People froth over labeling everything, and the only reason that we label things is because it's the only way that people can actually understand them. But it's not, hey, let's do a cut phase, a build phase.
I know. And it's like, you're Gen Pop. You're not a bodybuilder. You do not need to worry about that. Just go train hard and eat to fuel your body and your workouts. It's funny. Well, you saw that. I put something up about that the other day. It's like women like that. It's such a huge part of how I was able to build so much muscle in my 40s. I eat. Like I eat lots of food. I'm not afraid to eat, especially carbs. Like I eat a lot of carbs. I know you're a carb girl too. Like you have to eat them. And if my clients saw, or a lot of even my friends saw, well, they do see what I eat and they're like, holy cow. Like my husband is always blown away with how much food that I can eat. But the thing is, it's like you're using that for fuel in your workouts. Like you can't expect something to grow from nothing, you know? But so many women are so afraid to like eat food and eat maintenance, and they think it's like this like area that nothing's going to happen. And it's like, I have seen my best body changes eating and maintenance. Like even now, Ruby's like dying to say something, but even now I'm eating and maintenance. I added more cardio in because I had a neck injury and I knew that I wouldn't be able to lift like I normally do. So I just, in order to, because we know it's calories in, calories out, I upped my cardio just a little bit to make up for still being able to eat so much food. And I'm leaning out at a very high amount of calories. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not gonna. Yeah.
That's actually something I want to talk on. I'm trying to find my thing on this because I want to do a podcast on this very thing. This is so freaking important for people to understand, and it does my head in. This is where people like, but isn't recomp where you do like bulk, like building and cutting, and you do like reverse and this and that? Just like, no, all of that shit is bullshit. There is no such thing as like body recomp is eating out of a deficit, building your calories up, and training freaking hard. That is what it is. Because you are building muscle, and in building muscle, your body fat percentage ratio, your body to muscle fat,
muscle to body fat,
to muscle ratio is going to change, and it's important
on eating and maintenance. Yeah, honestly, the thought of going into a deficit, I don't even want to go there. I love being in maintenance. To me, it is the best place to be. You have so much more flexibility. You have enough fuel to have really good workouts. You feel good. You're not adding this extra stress on your body by being in a calorie deficit. And it's like, isn't that really, when we look at this whole grand scheme of things, isn't that the outcome that you want? To live your life in maintenance? Like when you think about it, or do you always want to think that you're going to have to diet again? It's silly. I don't. Like, I'm so glad to be done my fat loss phase. I don't ever want to do that again.
Exactly. I found the thing that I wanted to say. So this is exactly what, because a lot of people are like, okay, well, how do we progress? Like, what's progress? People only refer to progress as like being in fat loss or only seeing visible changes.
I know.
People are only used to this immediate feedback. And unless you detach from that, you're never going to see success, because we want to normalize at least a whole year around maintenance calories. But the thing is, maintenance is a lie. You are not maintaining anything unless you wouldn't come to us if getting nothing out of it is your goal. Like,
exactly.
Maintenance is not maintaining. It's a lie. There's no such thing as maintenance. We need to clarify, why are we saying maintenance? What is
your lifestyle?
No,
exactly.
It's not even the lifestyle. What I want to say out of that is maintenance is just a term for, it's a calorie range. That means you're not gaining excessive amounts of fat, which is the way that I want to say it. I don't want to say that it's not gaining a little bit, because you're always in a fluctuation. You gain body fat and lose body fat throughout the whole day. It's a whole process. You're always losing and gaining body fat. The net sum is what happens over time, and that is what you see. But you're always in a state of gaining and losing body fat, regardless. Okay, we need to normalize eating in this maintenance range for at least a year. Then we need to build training and skills and lifestyle. There is so much to focus on when you're not focusing on dieting and trying to count your calories to the nth degree, trying to fit it under 1,600 calories, thinking that if you think 1,600 calories is your maintenance, then you're not even ever going to live a life, because there is no life on 1,600 calories. My left ass cheek is 1,600 calories. Well, not really.
Yeah.
I'm not the coach who's going to throw you into endless dieting. We're going to focus on training to build a body and a lifestyle that you can actually keep. That is what maintenance is.
That's what I mean by lifestyle. This is just how you're going to live. You're always going to train. You're always going to eat well. You're always going to prioritize your sleep, hydrate your body, get your movement in, go walk. That is the lifestyle. It's the outcome. So much magic happens when you allow yourself to live in that area. You know what? Okay, did you see the post? Sorry, you just said something that reminded me of a post that I actually took screenshots of this morning because I was like, I need to create something about this.
Can you send it to me?
I'll send you the links to the two posts, because they tie in together. So this girl has said, I feel like I have totally bombed my macros today. I ate 2 bowls of honey bunches of oats and the big crying face. I'm trying to lose weight too. And so 2 things about this really irritate me. First thing, people's advice to her. Do you have protein shakes? Drink those for the rest of the day. Why was that cereal even in your cupboard? And she's like, well, I have 7 kids. And she's like, well, they don't need to eat cereal for breakfast. Like, clearly she doesn't have kids. Somebody else said, avoid oats at all costs. Eat eggs and just hard boiled or an omelet. Like, this is people's stupid advice online. It just drives me nuts. Go and walk your calories off. This is what people are telling her. Use this as a cheat day and start fresh tomorrow, right? Anyway, so I look up this girl. She is she's trying to diet on 1,200 calories. And this is what happens when you try to diet on so little. You're not going to stick to that. Like, she has lost, actually, she didn't say how much she lost. I thought she did. She didn't. I don't see that. But don't eat so little. That's exactly what's going to happen. Like, you're going to go and then you're going to feel guilty for eating 2 bowls of cereal. But in the meantime, you've restricted yourself so low. Your body is like, I need food. Give me the food. Of course that's going to happen. Right. And then you have stupid women online telling you like to write the day off and cheat today and just start fresh tomorrow. Like, this is just not what you do. Don't do this, people. It just, it got to me this morning and I was getting angry reading those comments and I thought, I got to make a reel about this. That's nuts. Crazy.
Yeah, like, this is the whole point. Like, this is why it's so important for you guys to step aside from chasing this thing ASAP. But it's that, like, this is what I'm trying to say about like, you're either building or breaking down your body. You're building your body when you're not in a deficit. As soon as you step into deficit mode, your body is in breakdown mode. It is breaking down shit. It is trying to break down fat. And in that process, if you're sloppy, you're breaking down muscle too. You're breaking down your discipline, your willpower. You're breaking down a lot of things.
Your sanity.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're 1,200 calories.
That's why I'm just like, well, maintenance isn't like, we need to stop just using the word maintenance, because maintenance is also like what you do if you put yourself into a little bit of a surplus as well. It's like anything that is not in dieting mode is building, it's improving, it's enhancing. And this is exactly what progressing is. It's not just throwing more and more weight on the bar. It's about mastering the basics first. Where are you now? Have you learned the basics? Have you learned about engaging things? Cool. Now let's move that up a tick. Let's move it forward. And that's what I love about when I'm sure you love this as well, when you get people in this state where it's like, we're going to spend a whole year just teaching you how to train really freaking hard, because as soon as you master that, as soon as you get your squats sinking low, you hinge like you mean it, that without collapsing, without losing your brace, without losing your lower back, without losing all these things, now we can actually load shit. Now we can actually start pressing you. Now we can actually get you training to failure. And now
it's exciting.
And now your body is going to freaking change. So if, like, in this whole process, your body is going to change because you're learning to train like you mean it. Without training like you mean it, your body isn't going to change. Changing doesn't come from diets. That's temporary fixes. That's just putting a Band-Aid on something versus actually, okay, let's take the Band-Aid off the roof. Let's figure out why it's leaking. Let's see the damage it's caused from you trying to patch it up all the time. That's going to take time.
Yeah. Sorry, I just didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just thinking, I think it was Jordan Syatt who says he calls maintenance momentum. And I'm like, I love that. I'm like, it does need another word. I'm going to think of another word and I'll message you and let you know what I come up with, because I agree. It's like, yeah, there's so much to it. And, maintaining sounds boring and people are like, but it's where the magic happens.
Says it as well, because I always used to say it and they said it on my podcast too, but I try to say it as, okay, cool, we're just getting you out of a deficit. You're either in a deficit or not in a deficit. And this is exactly what real change comes from, because if you approach it with the mindset of, I want to improve my body composition, I want to protect my performance, and stop labeling things, let's focus on the action steps that get us there. And that is body recomp. Bulk and cut cycles make you fatter over time, because in that bulk, no one is freaking training properly. No one is even you're not building muscle you're not building muscle in 6 months. You're not building muscle in 9 months. If you're going to do the whole 8 months bulk and then 4 months shred for summer, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 8 months bulk, 4 months shred for summer, we're just going to end up fatter over time. And then you're going to enter perimenopause and have the worst regrets ever.
And really, it's glorified yo-yo dieting.
I say that. That is my statement. Yeah. That's it. That is my slogan. Bulk and cut cycles are glorified yo-yo dieting, and it's literally that. So I think that's really important.
Speaking of building muscle and changing your physique, is that people don't understand how much it truly changes the shape of your body. Like, I have a friend, she's like, she always says to me, she's like, I just can't believe how much your body's changed. And I'm like, well, yeah. And she's like, but no, like the shape. And I'm like, well, that's muscle. It's from lifting. And it was like almost like hard for her to, I don't want to say hard for her to understand, because it wasn't, but I feel like I said quite a few times, that's from building muscle. Like, that's how you get a different shape, rather than just looking like a smaller version of yourself, right? Like, it's fun. You can shape your body. So when we were talking about crop tops earlier, it was more so around the mindset of wearing them, right? Like that, because people think that they have to have a shredded 6-pack to wear them. But it's like if you're always looking for the negative in yourself to improve so that you can do something, that's not a body. That's not I don't even want to say a problem, but we'll just put that in air quotes. It's not a problem with your body. That is something in your mindset that you need to work on, because chances are, sure, you work towards getting a 6-pack so that you can feel comfortable wearing a crop top. But then what is it going to be after that? You need to change your legs so that you can wear shorts. We've got to be happy with where we are. There are a lot of women in the world that are totally comfortable wearing whatever the heck they want. And it's because they're comfortable with themselves. It's not that they feel like they've reached this dream body that, deserves to wear a crop top.
That ties back to the post that I read from my Instagram, the happy life, feeling good, because when you feel good, kind of just takes care of itself. So after this conversation, I cannot wait to get this up. I am in love with it. I hope you guys get a lot out of this. I really wanted to keep talking. We're going to have to book another one very soon.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like it's these conversations that make the biggest difference, because ChatGPT, actually, it's hilarious. Adam said something on ChatGPT to ChatGPT, and I'm like, can you just ask it this question, because that is kind of wrong and you need to fix, and it needs to fix itself. And then it's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, that's the thing. Like, you need to challenge ChatGPT. You can ChatGPT things all that you want. It's not going to solve.
ChatGPT will tickle your ears. Whatever you want it to say is how it will spit back information to you most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you cannot rely on that. That's for sure.
I love that. Okay. Love you guys. And if you got anything out of this, please message us. Please shoot us a DM on Instagram. Carmen say your Instagram handle.
Coach Carmen Hayward.
Yep. And I'll have that down in the description. Mine is Transform X Ruby. And you will hear me on the next podcast. Please, please, please give this a 5-star rating and get me up to the 100. If you haven't given me one, please give me one. I really want to get up to the 100. I think I'm on like 75 or something now, so I'm getting closer, but I would really appreciate it. And if you guys send me a message on Instagram and let me know that you did that, I will see if there's anything that I can send you as a free bonus, whatever it is, even if it's a free consult, I will do that. And yeah, thank you for listening, and you'll hear me then.